Nice Birks. Is that what they wear these days?
Birkenstocks.
I'm a sneaker guy, and I like sneakers. You've worn the shoes that I've given you every time until today.
That's all I got.
So you're saying you need new shoes?
Maybe, I don't know.
Oh, I know a guy who just happens to have a lot of shoes. I'll talk to him. I'll give him a call.
Oh, sweet.
It's kind of like Bruce Wayne and Batman.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm implying and Bruce Wayne and Batman.
And Batman at the same time.
Yeah. Opening weekend has come and go. We have seen a number of world-class drum corps premiere their show at competitions as well as exhibitions, parent previews, etc. I'm Daniel Montoya Jr., Aiden Spicer. We're back with the program, and it's been an exciting few days for official shows, unofficial shows, show releases, leaks, etc. Opening weekend, how do you feel?
Opening weekend has definitely, this is like, I don't know, in my opinion, this feels like it's one of the most hype and kind of just like, I don't know, an adrenaline rush with a bunch because so much is happening all at once. And we even saw a lot of things that were maybe unexpected. But it was just like, I don't know, a couple of days of just chaos, but in the best way possible. You know? Sure.
Yeah. And I don't remember the last time we had the movie theater show that was the premiere, not the one in August, but I remember it's like, oh, don't we usually have the first show on Wednesday and Thursday? But this year was just Friday and Saturday. Obviously, post-COVID, we've had to condense schedules and throw everything together in a 5 or 6 weeks period. But regardless, one of the new things that happened, and we forgot to mention it, or we just completely forgot or didn't know, was that the first show wasn't actually going to have scores. So that first show this year was Muncie, or Munchie, if you're from the Midwest, or if you just like making fun of words.
Right.
Muncie only had 3 drum corps. It was the BOA Summer Symposium show. Is that right? Was that what it was? Yes, that's right, because Crown is and has been the host corps, the home corps.
Yeah.
I believe the Bluecoats were at some point. The Cavaliers were. So usually a Midwest corps is the home corps, and kids learn the music and the drills. Am I something like that? Sound about right? Yeah, I see these videos like the kids march the opener for Carolina Crown or something like that.
Yeah, they play it on stage, I think.
Yeah, so we had the Muncie show, no scores. Did you check it out? Did you watch it?
I did.
Okay. All right. So let's go in performance order. We started with the Cavaliers, someone who I predicted was going to score higher than they did last year. And when we get to our predictions, you'll see I still predict that, but maybe just a little bit different. What do you think about the Cavaliers?
I was a big fan of the Cavaliers. I feel like, especially the second half of the show, I really liked a lot. It was interesting with the uniforms and not having a hat, whereas Shaco.
It's true.
I saw a couple of comments about that on TikTok, talking about the lack of hats there. They weren't hating, but they were just saying it was weird not seeing it.
Yeah, right.
Which I didn't even think about until they said that. I was like, oh yeah, I guess they don't really have it. But yeah, I was a fan.
Yeah, 3 drum corps have sort of an Aussie: the Cavaliers, the Madison Scouts, the Crossmen. And there are certain things that drum corps people hold really close to their heart. I think an Aussie is one of those things, right? You know, for certain corps. I had heard and seen videos from the Cavaliers previous to this public debut, but not with the uniforms. It was really exciting to hear those old Jay Bocook chart style. And I don't mean old; he's from an older generation, but it was great to hear his voice with the brass line, to see that Pete Weber drill. Josh Brickey, I was unfamiliar with your game at the drum corps level because I really enjoyed the battery writing. I thought there was a lot of cool licks, a lot of cool moments, and it's well crafted. It really fit in. Really, really enjoyed that. I was really, really engaged in the show in the way that I thought I would be when I saw those previous leaks. That's right, I saw leaks. Whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
They're not performing it at the highest level yet. There is probably some room between content and achievement, which is where you kind of want to be. You don't want to overperform. You don't want to outperform your design, but there's definitely a lot of meat on the execution bone left for the Cavaliers. I think corps wide. If we hold them to you were in 11th place corps last year, they're where they need to be. But if you're like, this is like the 5-time champion Cavaliers who we're used to seeing at the top, then they have some room to grow, which is a good thing. Is like, well, we should hold the Cavaliers to a higher standard. And I think they would probably say the same thing. Yeah, for sure. But really excited about that show. My second favorite show of the night. One of my favorite music books that I've heard thus far. Let's get to my favorite show of the night. I'm not sure how you feel.
Let's see here.
The Phantom Regiment.
Yeah, it's my favorite too. So we're on the same page here.
It was good, right?
It was real good. It was real good.
Yeah. First of all, no title.
No title.
No title. It's just
none needed. Maybe. I guess that's the point.
I think titles are fine, but once you title something, you're kind of beholden to the title and reinforcing that design and all that stuff. So, but if you don't have a title, you're very much just like it's abstract art, or it's there's a term for music, and I can't believe it. My wife is going to kill me. It's where it's just art music. It's just music. It's just what it is. Absolute music. Absolute music. This is just an absolute show where it's like you take the show in and you enjoy it. God, they're playing. They're really playing.
They are.
Same shout out to the Battery people. I thought that the Battery book, I really enjoyed this Battery book more than I did last year for whatever reason.
Which they played the hell out of. It was good.
Yeah, this show is incredibly exciting and engaging and emotional. I think all hallmarks of a great Phantom Regiment show.
Yep.
It's what we've come to expect. A little bit dirty, a little bit fuzzy, but they've got so much.
The potential there, like, come on, dude.
Yeah, they've got a lot of content, and we know that everyone's going to change their closers, basically. But even then, I liked what they put on the field as it is. I don't mind the curtains in the back. I know some people think that with the wind it moves, and I realize that. But when you're in
but also you're in Indianapolis.
Correct. So. When you're in the dome, it's probably not going to move as much. But also, it does give you that whole.
It was kind of cool.
Yeah, and the visual will always be different. Whichever show you see.
Yeah.
So I totally get that. I think it's fine.
Some people hate on it. I was like,
it doesn't bother me.
It looks fine.
It doesn't bother me. And I love the uniforms.
Oh yeah.
Looks great. I'm a regiment in all white fan. I'm also a regiment in black, but I would take all white more than all black because that's when I first fell in love with the Phantom Regiment was when they were wearing all white. Not a fan of the tan days. Do you remember the tan Phantom Regiment days?
I do not.
It's okay. Don't worry about it. So a great show. Now, my favorite music book of the year so far that I have heard. And then we get to Carolina Crown. Carolina Crown, The Point of No Return. They finished up that show. They were very, very well cheered and welcomed at that stadium. What'd you think? We got to see it in a competition atmosphere as opposed to the Crown Live parent preview community performance.
Yeah. So definitely like the biggest difference between the first performance and second performance is it actually grew on me a little bit, specifically in the second half.
Agreed.
At first, like it, what we talked about last week, but the second half is definitely a lot stronger, and it definitely got me to lean up in my chair a little bit. I mean, it's still Crown brass at the end of the day, which we all know, but yeah.
Yeah, incredibly strong brass as usual. That it's hard to when you've set a standard for the brass like Carolina Crown has, or like the percussion in Santa Clara. It's easy to just dismiss it as like, well, yeah, they're good, but they're still good. Yeah. They're great. They're the tonality, the purity of sound. Like everything is just fitting the way it needs to. Anything that's a little fuzzy or crass, I'm gonna blame on microphones. Not that I'm blaming flow marching. I'm just saying. Audio on a phone,
it's
audio
different.
and it's completely different. And of course, it's the first real show. Again, percussion also. I am a percussionist, so naturally I'm gravitating towards that kind of stuff. So kudos to Joe Hobbs and Cliff Walker, the voices that they brought out. A very good companion to the Michael Klesch book on there. And yes, I agree that once we got to the ballad on, it really grew on me musically. I have this problem with when the Madison Scouts, it always comes back to the Scouts with me, when they did their pirate show. And then they all did you remember that show in 97? You ever watched it? It's okay. Don't worry about it. It's a pirate. The Pirates of Lake Mendota, a lake in Wisconsin. Yeah. And they go into like it's a very like, oh, we're drinking our alcoholic beverages and we're all having fun, yo ho ho and a bottle of rum. And it's like character and it's quirky and you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But I love the other 75 to 85% of that show. I feel the same way about The Point of No Return when they go to the like the show's called The Point of No Return. The uniforms look angry and angsty and the props, like everything, and then you're playing like I get it. Yeah. That's the movement, but I would have loved to hear like if it was like they mashed it and made it like that would have excited me. Like that would have been like I'm in. There's a point of no return. I'm in. Right now, it takes me out. Me personally, so it's more of an opinion.
I mean, I would agree with you. Yeah, for sure.
Has nothing to do with performance because they're playing the heck out of it.
Yeah.
I just go like, oh.
Okay, but that sounds really good, but
yeah. But yeah, I get that it's Carmina Burana. And I get that you want moments of levity.
Yeah,
you want that kind of stuff. You want, a roller coaster of emotion in a show. But I don't know. I think it would push me up another level, another gear.
The way to put it is like, I respect it.
Yeah, put it, drop the third.
Turn it up a little bit.
Yeah, why not? So that was Muncie, a show with no scores. An enjoyable show. Thank you to Flow March. It was a Flow Marching, right? That we got to see. Well, some people saw it on Flow. Other people saw it on YouTube at their favorite bakery of sorts.
Absolutely.
Led us to Saturday, which was Drums Along the Rockies. Had 5 drum corps. It was a scored event. Our first world-class scored event. And this is considered a West Coast show. Why is that? Well, typically because all the corps that are there are from the West Coast. But this time, not only did we have your Blue Knights, because they're home show, the Blue Devils from the West Coast, we had the Colts and the Troopers, who are Midwestern corps, or I guess slightly to the west of the Midwest. The West, they put the West in Midwest. Yeah. And then Boston Crusaders from the Northeast, which we knew they were coming over there. It has been said for years that if you wanted to beat the Blue Devils, you had to go start in the West Coast so that you can go toe-to-toe with them from the very start. We'll see what that means for the Boston Crusaders, but let's go in scoring order. So in 5th place, the Blue Knights scored a 65.950 with their show Drip. Did you watch Drip?
I did.
Yeah, what'd you think?
I remember we were talking about the props and me figuring out. Mm-hmm. So I figured out it is drip and it's the pipes. Obviously, I should have just thought about that. Yeah. I was overthinking it, which you shouldn't do when talking about marching band half the time. But I was a big fan of the show, honestly. The colors specifically.
That uniform really works on the field.
Yeah, like when you look at it, like you zoom out, you're like, oh shit, that's
that
cool.
Orange, a tribute to Drip, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I guess so. But I mean, the opening hit for sure. Like, I was watching with my friends and we were like chilling or whatever, and then they put their horns up and they played, and we were like, oh shoot, like, okay. Yeah,
I enjoyed the show. I enjoyed the uniforms more than I thought I would from afar.
Me too.
Once you saw it in motion, the props that looked to me, they look like a wave, right? And maybe that's what their inspiration was, but also pipes. That makes total sense. Yeah, all of that worked for me. A very enjoyable show. It's definitely going to be one of those shows fighting for that last spot to get into finals, and that whole clump of groups that are just
they're definitely
scratching and clawing, not only to make finals, but to now make the movie theater show, making the top 15. I can't remember what Blue Knights were last year. In 4th place, we had the Troopers, 67.750. They were in 4th place. However, their highest captions, they were 3rd in music analysis, visual performance, and of course, percussion on there. The final sunset. What do we got?
I was surprised they didn't bring back the prop. Gotta be honest. I was like, oh yeah, maybe it's in the plans. Maybe they're gonna bring it back.
That might be the San Antonio surprise.
Maybe.
We don't know. Maybe they'll bring that white drum major out again. We'll see. Yeah, definitely a lot of aggression and power in the sound that they have had since Tim Snyder came over to write and oversee the programming on there. I don't think we've seen the props in their final form just yet. Yeah. They're just kind of skeletal right now. I imagine there might be some sort of some scrim or whatever, vinyl or whatever it is they put on there. Just lay out the show. Now, that's one of the things I've noticed, and this is mainly post-COVID, is more groups are adding things as they go along and not putting a rush to like get the whole show on the field and get it out there, whether it's dirty or not. Some groups are saving it. The Bluecoats, which we'll talk about in a little bit, they didn't have their whole show out there. Some groups are still saving, and some groups are just like, this is our fake ending. We're really kind of working out. When we get to them, we'll talk about it in a second. So, so that was the final sunset. Is it the final sunset? You think we're gonna have another cowboy western show? I mean, you kind of have to. They're the Troopers, but
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I guess we'll find out.
We'll find out.
We will find out.
In 3rd place, barely above, 68.25 was the Colts. Now, if the Troopers were in 4th and had a couple of 3rd place captions, the Colts had 2 5th place captions, music analysis and percussion, which, if I'm being honest, when I heard it, it does, they have a little work to do. But those uniforms really work on the field, in my opinion. When you
really liked them.
And we talked about the uniforms last episode. It's a bright green, like
Yeah.
a volt green, and
when you see it,
red.
like when they just post the picture, you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
And then you see it on the field and you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, totally makes sense. The show, not necessarily an Illuminati show, a Restless Dreams
They do
show.
the Illuminati logo.
They do. I think it's secretly the dreams of the Restless Dreams of the Illuminati. I think that was the original title.
Yeah,
and they just go, well, what if we cut the Illuminati part out?
My thing, like, I really loved the Colts and watching them. I think my biggest takeaway from it was just like, I don't know what's going on, but I love it because like the way that they used the dual tone and they would snap around and then they would, I mean, you talked about how they would use it in that, and they absolutely did, like in that context. But yeah, obviously when you have a dual tone uniform, but the brass was really strong, and my first reaction was, dude, they're going to be the Troopers.
And they did.
And they did.
And they did. And they're in a good space. Granted, you want to be firing on all cylinders. You know, if you're third, you want to be third in all your captions. But they're not outperforming the design. They're saying, hey, you've got a lot of meat. I keep using that metaphor.
Yeah.
You need to clean it up a little bit. So that's good for them.
Which I think they will.
Yeah. You know, they have over the last few seasons proved that they will be able to execute their performances in there. So not a concern that you never want to just give any drum corps the benefit of the doubt on potential or anything. But you know, it's June. You know, we're not even in July yet.
Yeah.
I will say this is not a knock, and I don't really drink the drink, but you know, watching the Colts made me want a Mountain Dew. Because this is like a red Mountain Dew drink and like a green Mountain Dew
I didn't even
drink.
think about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So Mountain Dew sponsor the Colts. That just seems to make sense.
Yeah,
that's what I would do.
Don't drink water, drink Mountain Dew.
Yeah, it's what grass craves, right? Electrolytes. It's got electrolytes.
It does?
It's Idiocracy. Have you seen that movie?
No.
Oh gosh.
Sorry.
Second place. Now I posted this to some nerd friends and no one got back to me. The Blue Devils 75.4 in second place. I don't remember the last time the Blue Devils won a show. It was probably early last summer. And I'm wondering how long has it been since they've won a show, and what's the longest they've gone without winning a show?
Yeah, because it's weird.
It's really weird. It's really weird. And is this a new normal? I don't know.
Maybe.
It could be. Everyone's getting good. And they're getting good early. Blue Devils, 75.4. The only caption they were first in was music analysis, which, you know what? I enjoyed the show way more than I did watching the leaked video from Wyoming that we saw. Granted, that was a week ago. Getting in front of a crowd, you know, all this kind of stuff. Really, the uniforms work really, really well. The drill, the staging, like everything about the Blue Devils is very, very good.
The one moment with the guard in the middle, the circle. Oh my gosh, dude.
Yeah. It is beautiful, fantastic, and it was pointed out many times in the comment section, and now with a good camera, it was a soprano sax solo at the very beginning. I thought the miking was way better. The audio was way better this time around.
Yeah.
I will still say, and you mentioned it, I would like a little bit more noodles in the uninvited. We just have someone sing it if you're just going to go. Not a comment on the performer, comment on the content. Give us a little noodle. That's some free advice, some free critique.
Play something that like brass can play.
You know, and then like get up there and squeal, and then I don't know. I mean,
I'm sure some trumpet player could probably play it, but
yeah, if you can get the soprano sax, you know, I don't want to take credit for this. I know they're a rival school, Rouse High School, when they did their the M83 show, Midnight City. Midnight City.
Good show.
They had that clarinet soloist, and I think Jason Robb, the director at the time, had said, I want it to be as cool as a trumpet solo would be, and they did something, and she ended
awesome.
on a high note.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
The soprano sax solo should be that in the Blue Devil show. It needs to be something showy that a trumpet player would and then you would come in with dun or whatever, the uninvited hit or cashmere, I can't remember. But yeah, give us some reason to get out of our seat before the rest of the drum corps comes in. Some free advice to the Blue Devils, who definitely don't need it
at all
from either of us. But it's free advice. Loved Uninvited and Cashmere. Just love those tunes anyway in general. So to have them put together, I wish there was more of it, but love the show. And then in first place, we had the Boston Crusaders, 96.2.
Boom.
0.8. That's right. Boom.
No
I
pun
get
intended.
it. Pretty much first in everything except for music analysis. I had seen some show stuff from them. I had heard some things from them. The closer I heard was very different than what the closer they put on the field now. Obviously, they're either reworking it or they're saving it, or that
Probably
was
saving
or
it.
whatever. I don't know, so I won't spoil what I saw or heard. But it was a very different closer on there. What did you think about Boom?
Dude, I mean, it's pretty plain and simple. I was a huge fan from the beginning. It is exactly what I expected it to be and more in the best way possible. Dude, the like piano brass feature. I did that, especially that's one of the things I love most in drum corps is when they're not afraid to play piano.
Yeah.
And they're not. And they did it and I was like, shoot. And it like obviously like they're going to keep cleaning the music, but like they got to that part, you could tell they're working on it and it's like, whoa, like what like that's going to be just solid
for sure.
By the time it's finals.
Totally, for sure. Very much enjoyed it more. Again, now, other than these leaks, you're getting such bad angles and bad
recorded on an iPhone 4.
Yeah, or some of them look like a Nintendo DS. Okay, good, you get that reference. Very much enjoyed it. I'll talk a little bit more about it in my predictions, but I have adjusted where I think they may very well end up, and I have a comparison to years past of how I think things might end up finishing for the Boston Crusaders. But count me more of a fan now than I was previous to what the Boston Crusaders are doing. But I still stand by my statement that they may have the most talented core, top to bottom, of anybody else in DCI right now. And I thought that for the last few years as well. But Bluecoats won, Blue Devils won the year before, so we'll see how that goes. Now, just a few notes about how these drum corps fared against each other, mainly Blue Devils and Boston because it was a top race. In general effect, Boston was first in rep, but they were second in performance. Blue Devils were first in performance, second in rep. So Blue Devils were outperforming their design, so to speak. Boston, still some meat on the bone. Visual performance, Blue Devils were first in content, but they were second in achievement. Boston was first in achievement, second in content. So they flipped on that, saying that Blue Devils are not outperforming their content yet, as of what we can see. Boston very well might be. And then color guard, Boston Crusaders won content, Blue Devils won achievement. Wow. So you can see those three groups, and this is general effect, visual performance, and color guard. So the biggest two visual captions, and then general effect. This is good news for Blue Devils, good news for Boston, not overwhelmingly amazing news where it's a straight sweep. But, it's one judge's opinion on each of these captions, which will very well change from show to show. But you have to feel encouraged either way if you're Boston or Blue Devils. But you also have to feel discouraged because, we only beat them by this much and, they beat us, right? So some room, one of my friends who I used to work with, he's a good friend, Noah Bellamy, shout out to Noah Bellamy, said, I really like the feeling until the first scores come out, because then everything changes. And it really does. When you're on a design team, when you're on an instructional staff, that's why I've always maintained that the COVID year was the best year of drum corps, because nobody cared about scores. You were just going out and playing, and you got to wow the audience. And once the scores come out, everyone's mad at each other. Generally speaking. So
I could see that being them too, flipping a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll talk about that in the predictions later on. We also saw 4 different groups have community performances, parent previews, if not. Some were more carried on flow. Some were a little more from a drum corps parent in the audience. Did you happen to watch the Crossmen premiere?
I have not.
You have not. And that's okay. That was one of those, I guess it's legal. It's still on the website, on the YouTubes. I don't know that. I think it was just called the Crossmen Parent Preview or something. It wasn't a Bakery one. Crosswalking was their show. Okay. We got to see their costumes. They released the uniforms on there. Really like the drum major uniform. They have the X, but it's in the dash like a crosswalk would be.
Yeah, that's cool.
And they have the dots around there. Their first half of it looks like they're trying, the show is them crossing the show. So like the first half, they don't cross the 50 and they start. So basically they're crossing over the yard lines, which is like a crosswalk on the football field. So that's how the show progressed. Some of the comment section said that I would probably like it more than I thought because it's not super jazzy, and I would agree. It was not like, hey man, jazz, and more like drum corps jazz, which to me, I'm okay with, but I'm sure it's not like real jazz. Like it's drum corps jazz, man. Right. So yeah, I did enjoy it way more than I thought I would. So kudos to the Crossmen. It's going to be in that Blue Knights mix, getting into that last spot on there. So good for them. Did you happen to watch the Spirit of Atlanta premiere?
I had not seen that one, no.
Oh my gosh. Do you not read your text messages, Aiden? It's fine. Spirit of Atlanta with their show Rocket. Remember this show?
Oh, yeah.
That's fine. I really, really enjoyed this show. Now, we have not seen Madison Scouts or Pacific Crest, who were 12th and 13th last year. And I don't remember where Spirit fell, but they might have been 14th, 15th, 16th. But right now, out of that clump of groups, the Blue Knights, your Crossmen, and Spirit of Atlanta, Spirit's my favorite show.
Okay.
Musically, it's just a lot of fun. It's got a lot of pop-type music. It's got a lot of energy. It sounds bright in a good way, not like they got a bright tone, but this is like, I really enjoyed it. I think it's going to be one of the crowd-pleasing shows throughout the season. And I hope that if you're one of those people that, I'm not going on till 6th through 1st gets on, go check it out. Because I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be very exciting. And you're going to be entertained, which is really, to me, the name of the game when you're putting together shows is entertainment. Now, I know you saw this one. The Santa Clara Vanguard.
I did.
Had their show premiere. What'd you think?
I was a fan. It was not what I was expecting in a good way. I think as people were talking about, their brass was stronger than last year for sure. At least at this time period. But obviously they have more vets. Big fan of the uniforms. Reminds me of a different version of Babylon.
Sure. Yeah.
With the mainly not because of the uniform, but just because of the mesh.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was all right.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Michael Gaines posted a quote from designer. He's no longer with us, Alexander McQueen. I've enjoyed McQueen's fashion. I still wear his shoes, not necessarily designed by McQueen himself because he passed away a long number of years ago. But his company, his vision. So definitely a fashionable statement with their costuming.
It was
on there.
I like. There's no props too.
Props again. The uniforms are the costumes, however you want to describe them. Polarizing in that way of like, I think there's you like them or you don't. Yeah. Like, I think some people love them and other people are like, they're not for me. I don't, see if I say this the right way. I don't necessarily like them in a way that that's something I would have designed myself or that I would wear. But I love the swing and the risk that they're taking with everything put together. So applause to the visual people who put all that together. Again, a comment that they don't need either of us to say, but I think Michael Gaines is a genius. Yeah. I think Jim Moore, all those, Andy Toth. Is Andy Toth with them or is it Jim Moore? Andy Toth is with the Santa Clara Vanguard. Jim Moore is with the Bluecoats. Is that right? Somebody fact check me on there. But either of them, both of them are geniuses. But when you pair them with Michael Gaines, it's just you create visual magic. They're geniuses. The drill is amazing. The staging is amazing.
I feel like it gets more like Vanguard specifically, especially the last 2 years. Because of the lack of props, they have put like even more effort into everything else. So the uniforms, the front ensemble, they like just the amount, like there was like stuff that could have easily been a synth, just was not.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of respect for, I mean, there was a kid playing the theremin or whatever it's called.
Theremin.
There you go.
Yeah. Thermos. Yes.
Thermos. No. Yeah. But that's cool. Like that could have been a synth and it wasn't. And I have to respect that. Like that's really cool. And it's also like engaging, especially it's probably hard to see when you're in person, but most people are watching multicams and stuff. When you see it on the multicam and zoom on it, and you're like, oh, shit. Like, that's cool. Big fan of that. I think because of no props, they definitely add more effect into the music and everything in general like that. Yeah, definitely. Lots of the choreography, lots of the staging, lots of the characterization in there. Once again, hearing it and seeing it in a real show environment, it grew on me. I like it more than I did earlier. It harkens back to me sort of these late 90s, early 2000s Vanguard shows, if you're familiar with them, where, they're doing Bartok. They did Bartok, or they did Not the Nutcracker, where they were kind of playing everything that you don't know from the Nutcracker as opposed to the standard things. It is a beefy, insane book. There's just so much content, so much being asked of the brass players and the percussion players. If you were thinking that the Vanguard were not going to compete for the Sanford again, you are sadly mistaken because oh my gosh, they're so good.
They're good. They're going to be, you have to assume they're the front runners again. Not that they can't not win or that they will win, but, they're going to be, you want to beat the number one, you got to beat the guy to be the guy. And right now they're the guy. So, really, really, much more a fan now, the Vanguard than I were with those leaks. And you will see that in my adjusted predictions, which takes us to the defending champion, the Bluecoats of Canton, Ohio, with their show, The Observer Effect. Now, I had seen these props, those prism-type blocks and cubes out there. I had seen their uniforms. They're not blue, but they are coats. That's true. But, they're honestly pretty tame, non-offending, conservative-type uniforms than compared to years past, I thought. But who knows? I'm sure they're going to take it off and reveal a wash. There's going to be something. Always. There's going to be something. So, the Bluecoats, what'd you think?
Well, first of all, that was like one of the best shows I've seen in a while. And it may be contending, I don't know, maybe I'm glazing a little bit too much. It's possible. But I don't know. That's definitely a contender for one of my favorite shows just because of how, from the beginning, my biggest take, I'm trying to figure out how to say this. It was like watching theater, I guess.
Sure.
Because one of the things that like is so important in like musicals and theater is like being fully into your character 100% of the time. And I think that is exactly what the Bluecoats did and is what's going to continue to set them apart. Because as I was watching on the multicam, I mean, stuff's going on in the pit and the battery, and then they zoom in on some random baritone player, and he has his glasses and he's like inspecting the air, like looking at it, and like because it's what the show's about. But all of them were like always 100% in it, 100% of the time, and that is what really sold me on the show, past everything else that they were doing, which was great. I'm a fan of the uniforms. Some of my friends weren't. I disagree. Come on, Josh. I don't know. I just the only name you mentioned so far. I actually think he liked it. But the uniforms, I think it if for people saying that they don't like it, I mean, it's valid. That's valid. It's different. I just disagree, but I like it. And I like the way that they're using the glasses. I think it's really cool.
You would say that. You're biased.
I would say that. I'm 100%
did a whole show
biased.
devoted to glasses last year, but
it's cool. More people should do it. It's cool.
I love the show. I knew I was going to love the show. I love the partnership that they've been doing with Son Lux, with Ryan Lott, with that type of music. So cool. I really vibe with that feel, that style. There is no better group who utilizes electronics like the Bluecoats do and they have. And, we've progressed to a point now where I think more people understand the difficulty that goes into the electronics, the amplification, the phasing, the sampling, like all these things. So they're being rewarded for, unlike a show like Kinetic Noise, which I wager is one of the hardest music books ever to be put on the field, but people didn't realize it because they just, electronics and amplification. They just thought somebody was pushing buttons. No. It's like, no, you think, anyway, that's another soapbox for another time, but very much enjoyed the show. If I'm being honest, it didn't grab me the way last year's show did the first time I saw it.
Okay.
And it might be just more of a connection that I had to the music itself. Not knowing the music, but last year, I think maybe the melodies that they used, particularly from the Lost It to Trying, had a way of being more earwormy in a way that just kind of grabs your heart. Now, maybe they still have some things to work out and some things, and I know that they're still waiting to put on the remainder of the show, which I have heard from maybe reliable sources. I don't know, that we'll see it in Minnesota or something like that or whatever. I don't know.
Whenever they decide.
But I am left very much satisfied, but also wanting more, which is good, which is what you want from a show.
Which is what they're going to deliver.
Yes. And they are incredibly good. Everything, I know I just said that the Boss Crusaders top to bottom. Bluecoats aren't that far off, and they may be very equal. They may have their own weaknesses and strengths comparing, but they are, you can't, they're going to compete.
Yes.
Will they win the whole year long? I don't know. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But you have to assume that they are, in fact, the group to beat. That they are the favorite throughout the summer. But we'll see how that all comes down.
Some of those moments with the trumpets, it sounded like MIDI. Like I was like,
in a good way.
In a good way. Like I was like, dang, like that is so. I thought like at first they were trying to like. they were modifying the audio. I'm like, no, like they're actually just playing that perfectly.
Yeah, absolutely. So earlier today, and I think within the last like hour or so, the Blue Stars revealed their show, which was confusing to me because, spoiler alert, your boy saw a run through. So I already saw the show and I was like, I don't understand. But then I realized, I didn't know what the show was called or what it's about. They released, and these are not my words, it was a good joke, a very Wii Sports type graphic.
It kind of looked Rocket League, if you know what I'm talking about.
Put it right here.
Yeah, just put a picture of some Rocket League stadiums and then look at it again. Like when I first saw that, I was like, it looks like a video game, not in a bad way.
Yeah, it looks like their graphic looks like you would see the NFL on NBC or whatever.
Which I think is what they're going for.
Correct, absolutely. Also, somebody made a joke that hockey is not represented on this. I don't care one way or the other.
The two DCI Canadian fans.
That's right. They have lacrosse on there. They have volleyball. But they don't have hockey, which I don't care about either. They even have pom-poms for cheerleading, because yes, cheerleading is a sport. Hockey apparently is not. Spectator Sport is the name of the Bluecoats 2025 show, which makes sense when you hear that the music they're playing, an outdoor overture by Aaron Copland. The Winner Takes It All by ABBA. The Distance by Cake. Though I'm going to scroll in there. Yes, it says Cake. It looks like it says Coke on there, but Coca-Cola. And then Team by Lorde, which is not one of my favorite Lorde songs, but it is from her first album, Pure Heroin, spelled heroin, not heroin. So you said you have heard...
Yeah.
Oh, so we're going off of a leaks or whatever. What are your thoughts?
The brass is really good.
Agreed.
I am a huge fan of the brass, especially... I'm not going to talk about what they do, but almost did. Sorry, guys.
It's okay. We would have cut it out anyway.
I think just they are so much stronger. They have a lot more talent because their show last year was so cool. I think Blue Stars are, as I've been saying, I still think they're going to turn heads. I can tell that the show is going to have mixed emotions. I personally like it. I like a good show that's fun and engaging, which is, I think, exactly what they're going for here.
Yes.
With all the different sports. We'll see as it develops and how they do and what they do. But overall, I've been a huge fan. I'm going to continue to be a fan, and I hope that they continue to do well.
Yeah, absolutely. Big fan. Great core. They sound good. They look good. Execution is not going to be a problem for this group. But we'll see how I feel about their rankings as we move to predictions. Now, you have brought your own prediction. Now, if you forget, did you want to go first or me first?
I'll go first.
You want to go first? Yes. All right, so I'm going to react. We have not heard each other's predictions yet.
Yeah.
Now, go ahead, Aiden. Remember, this is Aiden Spicer. He's going to be tagged in the video, so if you have any issues with his predictions, you can just put them in the comment section down below.
Okay, my people, this is the TAP. The TAP, yes, the, in quotes, totally accurate predictions. In quotes.
Totally Aiden predictions.
Totally Aiden, totally accurate predictions, which I have made alongside one of my friends, Jason.
Oh, another J. Do you have friends whose names don't start with J? Is it because your dad's name is with a J?
I do have I have a guy named Gabe.
Spelled with a J? It's okay.
Maybe.
Okay. All right.
So, yeah, they may not be totally accurate, but they are hopeful.
And these are your first These are your first predictions for the season.
I have explanation for most of these.
All right, let's hear it. Let's do it.
Okay, number one, Bluecoats.
Bluecoats winning.
I think they're going to win again.
All right.
Number two, semi-controversial. I think, I'll just say it. Number two, Boston, 3 Blue Devils.
Okay.
For now. I think throughout the season, as we were just talking about, they are going to flip-flop a lot. We may see a Blue Devils, we may see a Blue.
Yeah.
In the long run, I think Boston's going to have more tricks up their sleeve with the show, and I think they're going to steal the audience a little bit from that.
All right.
Number 4, I'll just go ahead and get this out of the way, Phantom Regiment.
Oh.
And 5 Crown.
Oh my gosh. Hold on. Whoa, let's let the fans breathe. Put down your phones. Put down your keyboards for a second. Calm down. Your mom's calling you downstairs for some hot pockets or pizza rolls.
I think they could beat Crown again. I think if they competed tomorrow, they are not beating Crown. If they competed in a month, maybe so. I think they are going to continue. I love Phantom Regiment show. They continue to steal the audience, and they continue to beat people by stealing the audience. They practically suck everything out, and then by the time you get to the next score, you're like, oh, shoot. But
True. It's true.
And then I like to share a quote from Jason, which it's semi-controversial here, which is, if Phantom Regiment has the best run of their life, they could beat the Blue Devils.
Now that is a hot take.
That is the hottest take of
So
this
you're
century.
saying that the Phantom Regiment could medal, is what your friend Jason is saying.
And it's what I'm saying. But again, these are totally accurate.
You heard it here
predictions.
first. Totally Aiden predictions. Carolina Crown is going to get 5th. The Blue Devils are getting 4th. Phantom Regiment's getting
That
3rd.
sounds so ridiculous to say out loud. But
you said it.
I did say it. So, but no, realistically, that's probably not going to happen. I'm going to say Blue Devils in 3rd, Regiment in 4th, 5th
Okay.
Crown.
Okay.
Yeah, they need to focus on getting to 4th first before we can talk about the medal.
Sure.
But,
All right.
6th, I have Santa Clara Vanguard.
Okay.
I really liked it. I know you had them in 8th prior. Was it 8th?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, I thought about it. I moved them up personally.
Sure.
I really like their show. I'm curious to see what they could do. I mean, they could easily be higher. They could easily be lower.
True. Yeah.
The next 3 that I'm going to say are a complete toss-up. 7 Mandarins, 8 Blue Stars, 9 Cavaliers. I think that could be in any order at any time.
Sure.
And I think based on whoever's show develops more is whoever's going to end up being 7th, and whoever remains the top of those 3 could possibly compete with SCV for 6th for me. And then 11 Troopers, 12 Madison.
You forgot 10th.
Oh shoot, 10 Colts. I have Colts above Troopers. Totally biased from the scores from the other night, but I could see them switching as well. But that's what I got.
I think we literally have the same predictions.
Really?
Which is wild. Yeah. So I see that. Right. We haven't seen the Scouts Academy Pacific Crest. So right now I'm going off of vibes, and they're my favorite corps. So Madison in 12th. I see Troopers in 11th, Colts in 10th.
Yep.
But I can see that switching because right now I think, and as the numbers are showing, Troopers are executing at a higher level than Colts. But I think Colts have a little bit more to their show currently, as is the split.
True.
I've moved them up and some down. Cavaliers in 9th.
Yep.
Blue Stars in 8th.
Agreed.
I think that could switch, and this is why I was mentioning it earlier. Cavaliers have the show.
Yep.
The Blue Stars have the drum corps.
Who's going to do more?
Yeah. I think the island of 7th place will be inhabited by the Mandarins. I think they're going to lock into 7th place. They're going to be it's going to be like by themselves. They'll be well above 8 through 12, and I think there's going to be a good sized gap between them and 6th place. Now, I currently see, this is a big move, Santa Clara in 6th place.
I think they can do it.
I see Crown in 5th place. Now, you went off on a little hot take. The last time the Carolina Crown was 6th was 2007, I believe, was their horse show, I think. I can see a world where Vanguard jumps Crown by the end of the year, if these predictions were to hold, because I think that there is a level to what Santa Clara is doing and the visual that Gaines and company are bringing.
Agreed.
That might
push them a little bit.
Might push them. So, if you need to take a drink out of your Capri Suns, I know that you just had 2 of us basically not have the Carolina Crown in the top 3, but kids, it will be okay. The Tiny Chef will return at some point. I too have the Phantom Regiment in 4th.
I think it could happen.
I have the Blue Devils in 3rd, and I also have a potential that the Phantom Regiment could be in 3rd place. And we talked about this. I think there's a number of drum corps this year that the audience is going to will into spots. I think Phantom is a corps that could be willed by the audience into 3rd place by the time it's all said and done.
It happened last year. Like the audience alone boosted them another, I think.
Yeah.
Especially with this show that literally has endless potential. It's cool to think about.
I can see it. And that doesn't take anything away from the Blue Devils. Especially the Blue Devils have to feel like Phantom Regiment is their nemesis, because in a weird way they are intertwined. In 1996, they both tied. That shared a title. Spartacus came back and beat the Blue Devils after creeping up in 2006. And here we are almost 20 years later saying, is Phantom Regiment going to jump Blue Devils again by the end of the year? Phantom Regiment is going to come dripping emotion. Pause. Blue Devils are going to bring their academic brains of an artistic work. What's going to come out on top by the end? We'll see. We'll see. It's also weird, and I put this here. It's weird that for the first time ever the Blue Devils are underdogs? Like now, everybody, including you and I,
It's
are saying
so weird.
they could drop to 4th. And if they're watching this, and if any drum corps is not watching stuff, it's got to be the Blue Devils.
Yeah.
They're probably going, okay, now we have chips. Now you've given us a reason because everyone's trying to knock you from the top. Well, Bluecoats are on the top. Boston's very close to the top. The Blue Devils are underdogs, a place they haven't been maybe ever, and now we get to see how they react. Because now everyone they got none to lose. Now it's just like so we'll see. Yeah. I do have Boston in second, and I have Bluecoats winning it all. Now, I have been vocal over the years that I think the right drum corps won when Inc. beat Inferno on finals night. If you remember that season, Crown won prelims and semis.
Yeah. And
I believe was the first corps to win prelims and semis and not win finals when Inc. or the Blue Devils came back and beat them. I think the Boston Crusaders have a championship corps and right now are putting the pieces together to create a championship show. It's not there yet. I can see a world where we have a champion who is not undefeated. I could see the Boston Crusaders and Bluecoats losing a show potentially through the season. I could see maybe Blue Devils and Boston kind of fighting it out, but then Boston eventually proves triumphant, and then they start fighting with Bluecoats. I can see that.
It's true.
I can see a situation where Boston wins prelims and semis, and Bluecoats win finals.
I could see
another Inc. Inferno type situation.
That's not ridiculous, yeah.
Which would be wild, especially if we call it exactly that way and it happens. And if it does, you heard it here first. So our prediction is pretty close.
Yeah.
You and this Jason person kind of, I think y'all copied me, but that's okay. But
Mind reading.
it was in the air. It was kismet. So that's awesome. Yeah, we were close together.
Yeah. We're on the same page.
We were on the same page. So kudos to us, especially when this happens exactly like the way we said it would happen, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Because these are totally accurate predictions.
Tap in.
Tap in. Anyway, speaking of music, speaking of hip-hop or R&B, I was thinking of Saweetie's Tap In, right? Yeah, is that what you were thinking?
No, but
it's okay. Matt Harloff responded to our video from last episode where we posited what type of music does he listen to. His wife, Susie, saw it and then retweeted or reshared or shared and then tagged Matt. And then within minutes, he went on. This is from the official Matt Harloff Instagram. Matt Harloff says, Dave Matthews Band and Hootie are awesome. That's right. I
guessed
it. Love both. He didn't mention Coldplay.
He didn't. I was so wrong.
You know what? I don't like Chris Martin's voice. So I'm right there with you, Matt. My go-to if I'm driving in the car and don't want to think or stress about anything is 80s. So you said 90s hip-hop. I should have said 80s music. Apparently, Matt and I are kindred spirits because I am the exact same way when I'm on a road trip. I like to put on adult contemporary 80s, like soft rock.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I also like to rock and roll. But he says, Billy Joel, Journey, Boston, Yes, REO Speedwagon, Michael Jackson, The Stones, Elton John, Aerosmith, and many more. But yes, Travis Scott is also on my playlist. He is the go. What Travis Scott do you think is his favorite?
What Travis Scott song?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to think about that.
That one?
Maybe the one that he was in for.
Maybe that's the one.
Maybe that's the one. All the ones that he has maybe synth brass in. Maybe. Close
Possibly.
to home.
Possibly. You know, I don't know. Stargazing, is that the sicko mode?
Sicko mode? Yeah,
probably. It wouldn't be an episode if I didn't test your knowledge on something.
Okay.
Name me one Billy Joel song.
Billy Joel. Oh shoot. I know that name.
At least you know the name.
At least I know the name. I'm gonna lie. Actually, gonna tell the truth. I have no idea. I'm so sorry.
Piano Man?
Oh, shoot.
Oh, boy. All right, 0 for 1. Name me one Journey song. Oh, come on. Did you watch Glee? They did like a whole Journey mashup. I'm
gonna...
Don't Stop Believing? Oof.
I'm going to be so for real. I know songs, but not the artists. Sorry, guys.
Do you know any Boston songs? Not Boston Crusaders, the band Boston.
No.
Neither do I. Do you know any Yes songs?
No.
I think I know Boston and Yes. I just don't know that I know that those are the songs. So, okay, so you're 0 for 4.
0 for
I'm
4.
2 for 4. REO Speedwagon. Because I can't fight this feeling anymore. All right, boy. Zero.
There's
Okay.
gonna be somebody that's going to cook me for this.
Yeah, you would have to know this one. Michael Jackson.
Thriller.
Okay,
That's the
good.
first thing I think of, but
The Rolling Stones.
I know the band. I couldn't name you a song.
Paint It Black. Every band did it after Crown did it. I see a red door and I want to paint it. Okay, don't worry about it.
Okay.
Elton John.
Yeah.
Name me a song.
Rocket Man.
Oh, you got lucky because of the movie.
Yeah.
Aerosmith.
I couldn't name a song, but I know the band.
Love in the Elevator. Living on the Edge. Amazing. Crazy. Crying. Oh my God.
Sorry.
Wow. So you got one right.
I did get one.
Michael Jackson.
No, I got Elton John as well. That's two.
Oh, so you got two right. Yeah. Only like two of the most iconic artists in history. So I'm glad. Yeah, I don't know that you get credit for that. That's like writing your name on the SAT. Like, okay. Yeah, sure.
You know what?
Yeah, you
that
should.
means.
You should. All right. So there's 1.5 shows, I think, between. I say 1.5 because I think there's only like 2 drum corps at one of the shows between. We're recording on Sunday. This show will release on Monday. So there's a show, and then there's a few more shows later in the week. So
There's something tomorrow. I think.
yeah. So we'll be back at some point during this week, wrapping up more stuff.
Yeah.
And then it just seems like the calendar is just like nonstop punching you in the face. So we'll be filming sometimes while a show is going on or the morning before a show. So we'll figure all this kind of stuff out. But yeah, it's shaping up to be another exciting, thrilling season. And if you're just a fan of being entertained, I think you're gonna win, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you have anything you want to plug? Anybody you want to shout out?
Small drum corps shout out that I saw.
Oh, a small drum corps shout out?
They're not small, but they're.
Oh, but your shout out is small.
Maybe.
Okay.
Let's see. I wrote their name down because it was really cool.
All right.
It was last night at the. I believe it was before. It was at the Bluecoats event. I think they were one of the featured performers. It was the Rogues Hollow Regiment.
Rogues Hollow Regiment. Yes.
They played. They had their show Toxic. Reminds me of Leander 2019.
Were you in that group?
No. I wish. Dang, that'd be so cool. But they did exactly what I think you should do, and that was capitalize on the audience.
That works.
Engage with the audience all of the time. They had so many screamer trumpets and so many like it was just cool. Like you watch it, like you were getting ready, you were like, dang. We were just like, dang, we kind of want to see the Bluecoats. And then they came on and were like, oh, those are cool props. And we were like we were like the whole time we were like, dude, this is fire. It was a really cool show. I think they engaged with the audience. You could tell the audience was listening the whole time. They had lots of audience interaction. Like it was just a cool, especially to just have there as an exhibition and not really be scored. They had a full production show, and I think I couldn't tell. I think I looked them up, but I don't remember. I think they were. It looked like there were people like older, like that would definitely be aging out in it. So I don't know how Sound Sword works.
Yeah,
I should look into it. But
sure. Oh, well, that's awesome.
It was cool. Yeah.
So Rogues Hollow Regiment getting a
Rogues
shout out
Hollow
from
Regiment.
Aiden Spicer. Look at that. Speaking of shout outs, I don't have any, but shouting out to all the people that have been engaging with us over the last 7 days. We recorded our first episode a week ago today. And many have watched, shared, liked, subscribed, thumbs up. I don't know if there's been any hating, but there's some people, like, but thanks to all of you out there on TikTok, on Instagram, on YouTube. Is there anywhere else that we're I don't know.
I have anher shout out.
Oh, go for it.
The bass 5 of the Enrichment drum line.
Okay.
That played before the Bluecoats. Dude, that guy, he was hitting that drum. It was awesome, dude. Like he was, oh my gosh. Me and my friends were just geeking out the whole time. It was awesome. Shout out to you.
We need an acronym for the people you shout out, like Aiden's All Stars. I don't know.
Aiden's
shout out.
Random
AR.
I don't know.
You can think about it.
Tap into these shout outs. Totally. No.
By Saweetie. Tap in. Do you know the song that the song is sampled from? Tap in.
No.
It's okay. It's fine. It's a very old. I wouldn't expect you to. It's okay. We'll educate you. We'll put a playlist together for you.
Okay.
Put in the comment sections of songs that Aiden should listen to.
I'll reply if I've heard it, so I can prove that I'm not totally clapped.
Explain clap to me. Is that like washed?
Clap? I don't know. It's just dude, I might get like flamed, but I mean, I guess it's like another way of saying like cooked. I don't know. I'm chopped. I'm clapped.
So is it like saying
It could be like when you say like I'm like if you like see a picture of yourself and you're like not looking good, you're like, dude, I'm clapped. Or like I'm I don't know, you hear it like I play back a recording of myself and I sound it's just the same.
Okay.
I sound bad. I'm like, dude, I sound clapped.
Okay, you sound so okay. It's
that may be incorrect. I don't know. That's just how me and my friends use it.
Negative. It's okay, gotcha. All right. We should name this segment something like Aiden teaches me cool lingo. I'm not going to use it.
There's a good chance that someone's like, yo, that's not what that means. But
that's how they say
what
it
it
in
is
Leander
for, I guess, for me and my friends. That's how we use it.
Things move a little slower in Leander.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe they do.
But for all of you that haven't, give us a thumbs up, click that subscribe button, give us a follow, all of those good things. Share the clips, share the videos, because that also helps. It lets us know that you like what we're saying or that you don't like what we're saying. Either way,
these guys suck.
Yeah, but repost it and share it and then say we suck.
But repost it first.
Yes, do that. That's important. So, all right. So we'll see each other in a few days. Do you have a cool way to freeze frame this time? No?
Hold on.
Okay.
I don't know. Oh, we can hit
hit the whoa? Hit the quan.
No.
Hit the quan?
The quan. I haven't heard that in a while.
It's in my head.
We can hit this.
Is that a gang sign?
No, it's not.